I was at Tj Maxx earlier. One of the employees came over to me and asked me if I used to model. If I used to model. I don't know if that's a compliment. I wasn't even sure I heard the question. Then I thought, you know what? Maybe this guy doesn't speak good English. So I asked him. I said, did you mean earlier today? By any chance? And he looks at me, and I swear to God, in perfect American English, he says, I mean a really long time ago. What? I have been Botoxing since I was 24, okay? I should look 24, all right? I have paid a lot of money to be frozen in time. I was hurt. I was devastated. I wanted him to feel bad too. So I did the most modelly thing I could think of. I threw up on him. Yeah, I did feel better. So take that, Mr. Tj Maxx. Let's see, just got back from Israel. That's a fascinating place. If you've been, I don't know. It's great. I learned a lot of things. I learned about the Bedouins. I didn't know about the Bedouins before I went. The Bedouins are a semi-nomadic Muslim group of people who live in tents by the side of the road and can have multiple wives. Okay, and the workload is broken down like this. The woman in full burqa cover, no matter how hot it is outside, she goes and gets to herd sheep and goats all day, while the guy takes his pet camel, hangs out at a gas station, gives foreign tourists a ride if he feels like it, and takes their picture, okay? That's the workload. While we're there, the tour guide says to me, he says, Jamie, a Bedouin man would not give even one goat for you because you are too skinny. That's what he says, all right? And it's not like I asked him, I didn't say, while I'm over here, how much livestock you think I could get for this piece of ass? Any idea? I didn't say that. My husband, of course, furious with the guy, because my husband had taken me to Israel to try to get at least 2 goats for all of this. So, of course, we're pretty bummed to be back in New York, completely goat-free. Right before my 21st birthday, I had my tongue pierced. Okay, I called my mom to let her know what I had done. She was not happy. She said that by piercing my tongue, I was telling the whole world that I was the type of girl who would do anything. Oh, thank God she didn't ask me how I paid for it. Because she would not have liked that at all. Not at all. Let's see, I'm recently married, less and less recently every day is that how that math seems to be working out, right? Married people know that being married means that you have finally found the one, right? That you have a 50% chance at forever with, The statistics are not very romantic. For me, it just means I am so tired of having to look at every single man I meet as a potential second husband. And my husband, he's always like, you don't have to Botox. You don't have to color your hair. I love you just the way you are. And that is really sweet. That is really sweet. I love him for saying that. But I am so not doing this for him. So not doing this is for the future, Mr. Jamie. 50% chance of rain, you bring an umbrella, right? 50% chance of divorce, I'm bringing a plastic surgeon. So my husband, he's a lot older than I am, and everyone wants to know, how old is he, right? Well, I'm not going to get specific about his age. He'd, of course, like me to keep some things private and personal when I'm up here. But I can tell you he is well into the colonoscopy years. He's well into those. He does seem to enjoy a good prostate exam, but who doesn't? Who doesn't? We dated long distance for 3 years before we got married, okay? I lived in Las Vegas. Older guy, younger woman walking around Las Vegas, not a big deal. Pretty commonplace, in fact. If anything, I looked paid for, Here in New York City, are you kidding me? Anything goes in New York City. Nobody bats an eye at us here. But we were in a small town in Illinois taking a walk, And there's these two guys sitting on a bench. And as we pass by, I hear one of them say, "Is that your dad?" So I look up at my husband. He didn't hear it. He didn't hear it. Of course, the old guy doesn't hear it. So I turn around and I say, "Don't be a jerk." And the guy goes, "What?" And I said, "You know what? I found what you said to be really offensive. I don't know how old you think I am, but my dad is 5 years younger than this guy." So, just knock it off with the rude comments, would ya? Jeez. Oh, man. My husband, before we got married, I told him, I said, "Look, I want to be really, really clear with you. To get me hot, I like to be disrespected." Okay? He takes it way, way, way too literally. Way, way, way too literally. Okay? He gives me a prenup. Yeah. Not exactly the slap across the face I had hoped for, but okay. So we do. We have a prenup because the gold diggers have ruined it for everybody. And my husband does not love me in a 50% of all of his stuff kind of way. Yeah. You can laugh at that. You can not laugh at that. Doesn't matter. I know that joke's funnier than anyone's ever going to give it credit for. I do. It's the only joke I have that my husband laughs at every single time I tell it, which made me suspicious, very suspicious, in fact. I did look at the prenup again, ran the numbers, and found out specifically that he loves me in a 5% of all of his stuff kind of way. Yeah, divorce is not going to pay well. If he dies, I get everything. The way I see it, he's really just forcing my hand, you know? Whole game of cat and mouse going on at home. He really knows nothing about. Let's see, I'm a new stepmom. I know, nobody cares. I know, no one congratulated me when I was expecting. There's no expectant stepmother parking at Walmart, okay? But of course, being a new stepmom to two very, very, very cute boys, ages 19 and 23, I, of course, have a lot of questions, you know? Like, what kind of foods are they gonna wanna eat? And how am I gonna know when they've gotten too old for me to shower with? Just nobody really tells you those things. I'm Jamie Rosen. Have a good night. Thank you, guys.